Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. Should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where I was debating whether I should be recording this episode now because I have a D&D session in like 20 minutes or so. But I mean, like, I basically kind of done the prep. Oh, I didn't title today's Okami episode, did I? Whoops. Okay. Let's do that now. Let me see. Because I don't remember what happened in this one. Oh, this is one I recorded recently because I ran out of a backlog of videos. Okay, so what happened in this one? Don't listen to that. We talked about Kai. Hold on. Is it Kylie? Hold on. Returning home in Japanese. I feel like I already did this for a title. Ni Kai. Kairu. It's not quite the same. Okay. Kai. Kai. Okay, hold on. Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow at 6:40 PM on Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. Sorry, it's just trying to figure out what's the title of this episode. What was the only thing that happened? Like Kai? So no, we met the village elder, right, didn't we? What's the village elder's name? Kemu? Kai Kemu. Kaito Kemu. How about that? Kaito Kemu. As new people that we were introduced to. Why not? Okay, dokere. As we get into it, yeah. Got D&D very soon. Not be surprised that by running 2 D&D campaigns each week, a lot of my conversations start off by like, oh, I've got D&D, or I'm doing something with regards to D&D. You'll be glad to know I finally managed to pull Ellen on the Gacha ban and Zenderson 0. So that's pretty great. I did some pulls on Genshin because the new patch is out, and I really wanted the weapon of a weapon banner, the 4-star weapon called Zyphos. Because it's not been on a banner for ages, it's a really good weapon, and I like to use basically a different weapon for each of my characters, so I never like to reuse weapons. And Zyphos is really good, can give it to my Kazuha, free up Favonia's blade to give to someone else, who knows. And wouldn't you know and behold it, I was like, I'm willing to spend a little, like, throw a few, I feel pretty good, to spend some on my Prima Gems on that banner. I was like, it's a little bit tenuous because I already got one of the weapons on this banner. It was Navi and Nilu's banner. I already have Navi's weapon, so I was like, okay, chart the course on Nilu's weapon, whatever. And then I did a temple and I got Nilu's weapon. No, I did 2 temples, and the second temple, I got Nilu's weapon. I was like, okay, well, I don't even use Nilu that often, but I do like Nilu's playstyle. The thing is, I've not hyper invested in like her team. I haven't built like a hydro applicator for a team with high EM to really allow the blooms to come to pass. I was meant to do that. I was meant to turn Barbara into that, but I never actually got around to doing it. So yeah, I guess I'm playing a lot more Nilu now, as now I have her weapon, and I was just like, okay, this was highly unexpected. And then I was thinking to myself, am I tempted to try and roll for some Kave and Kirara? Really wish they were on the next banner, not this banner, because I have both Navia and Nilu, and in fact I already have C1 Navia by accident, essentially. And I was like, I have a guarantee, there's no way I'd be happy with myself if I miss out on Emily, because I rolled to get C2 Navia or something. So I didn't. Instead, I threw a few more rolls at the weapon banner to try and get Zyphos' Moonlight. Did not get it. So there we go. I've got like 40 pity on that banner, and we'll see what happens. I might try for the next banner weapon as well, because I'm not that interested in too many of the characters in that land. Like, I'm not interested in any of the starter characters. Or like any other characters who've been teased. There's like one character, I think her name was Xylonen, and I guess the Archon herself. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of interested in Sitlali. Sitlali's an interesting one because there's actually a character, quite a major character in my D&D campaign called Sitlali. She's a draconic companion of one of my player characters. And, you know, like seeing it like and then my friend was like, whoa, hey, is this the collaboration between Dear Darling and Genshin Impact? And I was like, yeah, of course it is. But it's amusing to see that Genshin Impact also names things. It's very similarly to how I name things, which is basically basically each of my regions has like a different language of inspiration to draw from, and then I just take, you know, some words, translate it in that language, and then just like either mash together some words to make a thing, or like take syllables which sound like they belong in that language and make it. Doesn't mean I always get it right, to be perfectly honest, so please don't scrutinize me to that detail. I'm doing my best as a one-person DM, not writing a cohesive whole story, but doing my best to build a DM campaign. And one of them is Sadai, you know. It means star in Aztec, I believe, or something like that. Or like in a Mayan language. I honestly cannot recall off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, she used to do it with stars, that's why. Yes, I don't know what else to say about that. I forgot. I genuinely forgot what I was going to say from this. I have two ways I can go down this conversation. I can do the desire sensor, or I can talk about the naming thing. Let's talk about desire sensor, because I think the naming convention can come up like at any point. Yeah, I don't know. It was just really weird in Genshin Impact. I mean, it's the nature of gacha, to be honest. And I like to think I have a detached enough view from gacha, but I see it as more transactional rather than just like like gambling my luck. You treat everything as if you need the maximum amount of rolls to get it. I mean, if it comes early, you're like, cool. Except for I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I treat things from the expected value of it. No more, no less, really. Which you might be like, that's so like statistician of you, so frequentist. And I'm like, I'm not really sure if that counts as frequentist, because I'm not doing, I'm not like guessing parameters necessarily. We very much known parameters. I mean, I guess you could do a test on it, right? I don't know what test you would do though. I guess you would do a test if I'm luckier than the average person. And I don't know, it was just doing the weapon pulse and just randomly getting the weapon. And it was even crazier, because the chance I got that weapon, for one, is like the chance I get any weapon on a pull, I think is like 0.6% chance or something. Multiplied by like 10, okay, not quite multiplied by 10, but you know, probably for each 10 pull, I'm going to guess there's somewhere in the ballpark of like about 1% chance to actually get a weapon. And not only once you roll that 1% chance, you had to roll another percentage dice. You have a 75% chance of actually getting a limited weapon. And then when you get a limited weapon, you have a 50-50 chance of getting either limited weapon. And the fact it happened to land my way every single time, like I got the weapon, I got a limited weapon, I got the limited weapon I don't own, was sort of like crazy. It's even crazier that I risked it even more by rolling even more on weapon mana afterwards. But I've gotten a lot of things like really early in recent Genshin banners, which makes up for, I suppose, Xenozone Zero being so like... Xenozone Zero, I had to go to like soft pity. Like I think I did 150 pulls or something to get her, and I was like, maybe I should get a weapon as well, because I only really care about these characters. Like there's not many feature characters I care about. I don't know, and like I've seen some of them. Jane Doe looks kind of coolish, but I'm not like super sure. The rest of them, I'm just like, all right, whatever's. We'll see what happens. Sorry, just spilled water all over myself. Anyway, there's a concept known in the gacha gaming community called as a desire sensor, which is honestly it's probably known in more than just the gacha community. This is the context I hear it used most in, because it's to do with luck, isn't it? But you know, I mean, you know, scrap away the sort of like whole gacha context I put on this. It's very applicable to anything. Just the sort of the general concept of, if you want something, you know, it's almost like the world bends in your favor to not give you the thing you want, and then like in a monkey's paw style way, it makes it as comical as possible. I mean, that part's not really part of a desire sensor, but that's what it feels like sometimes. And honestly, logically, not the case. The world is not someone out to get you. The world is not a thing, a thinking being. The world is just like an ecosystem. It just exists. The world holds no ill regard to you. It just is. So obviously that's not the case, but it's to do with cognitive bias, I think, probably is in humans, that like when you think there's a pattern there, you find things which reinforce the idea of a pattern rather than things which disprove it. So you're like, oh, this bad thing happened to me, so I remember the bad thing a lot stronger than I remember the good thing. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with this necessarily, but yeah, desire sensor sort of thing is Is it real? No, absolutely not. But it's fun to think it's real. It's fun to, I suppose. I'm not sure fun's really the right word, but it sort of feels a bit liberating to be like, oh, you know, I can blame. I'm not sure blaming something else is the right word, but I can put the onus on something else, being like, oh, it's not me, you know, and just like random luckiness, and I'm not being unlucky. It feels a lot better to be like, oh, something, you know, desire sensor, as if it's as if it knows what I want and then proceeded not to give it to me. Or honestly, I can't complain though. I did get, of course, the limited 5-star weapon I wanted. Well, it's not even I wanted that badly, but like if I had to get one, it would have been that one. Actually, is that true? No, but there's another limited 5-star weapon I want, probably more than this one, but I don't know when that's happening, to be honest. When that character's even rerunning. Yeah. So, where was I going with this? I don't know. The fact I got it was just like, okay. Because I'm pretty sure I did actually pull a little bit for this weapon when it first came out. And in fact, it came out. I'm just like, okay, right, you know, fair enough. All's well that ends well. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm finding myself putting for weapons more because I'm just sort of like, but there are some characters I do find interesting in the next Genshin patch, but not like, I don't know. They're not. I didn't look at them and be like, I'm overwhelmingly for these. To be fair, I thought the same thing with the Sumeru characters, and then I ended up putting for almost all the Sumeru characters because I thought they were great. The story really sold them on me, but like most of them, I sort of looked and went like, okay, I kind of like Dia. The rest of them, I'm like, okay. And the Archon. So I had to see how it goes. Well, to be fair, with Fontaine, I think I looked at most of them. I was like, I want like all of them. Yeah, I don't know. I need to see more of these characters. I just know for certain that these first 3, which have been teased in the next patch, are pass on me. Not that they're bad characters or anything like that. I'm not going to dive too much into that, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure there's a lot of discourse around them, but I'm just like, yeah, this is not as interested in them compared to other characters. Anyway, sorry, desire sensor. Like, hold on, I don't actually know if desire sensor is an actual thing or not. Not like, obviously it's a phenomenon, a fake phenomenon, but like just like if it's an actual thing or like a Wikipedia article. Is a popular term on a Monster Hunter series, a case where player focus on obtaining material, but after quest obtains any material except for one the material player wants. Okay, I didn't realise it actually came from Monster Hunter. Anyway, is it a real thing? Absolutely not. I mean, it's fun to think of these like fun conspiracies, like, oh, the devs are logging the details of what thing and making the best estimation of what you actually want, and then like doing whatever they can to make sure that you get it as infrequently as possible, because then you spend more money or spend more time on the game. When really that's like way harder than anything they need to do. Just to make people spend more on the game, they just probably had to increase the prices a little bit. Or something, or start selling something else for a monetary gain, like getting some sort of like predictive model in there to try and figure out what you want and what you don't want is frankly quite ridiculous, and way much, you know, they'll probably be facing the long arm of a litigation law if they ended up doing that and not, you know, disclosing it. Would be interesting to see. Maybe that could be like an interesting video game concept. You play an AI who is trying to enable the desire sensor. You had to try and predict what these people want and then give them stuff which keeps them engaged for longer. I don't even know. It's more like a sort of like a Black Mirror-esque type of video game, and I don't mean Bandersnatch. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with this. Desire sensor. What's a truest case of desire sensor? I mean, obviously that's like quite a minor case of a desire sensor. I don't think I really run into it all that often. Like, you kind of had to run into it in like a loot-esque scenario, like a gacha game, or like an MMORPG where you're like farming boss loot and boss drops scenario, which is not really all that common, to be perfectly honest. Like, despite the fact I play these gacha games, I don't really play them that. Like, I definitely play way more than the average person. Let's be clear. But they don't like consume my life in that sense. Nor do you do that much gacha pulls. You'd have to be quite sort of rolling in it to really allow that to happen. Yeah, so I don't know. It's difficult to think of a situation where I was like, yeah, the desire sensor in full effect there. It certainly feels that way, I think, when you start out, but when you run into any sort of like unlucky situation. But again, but a logical brain shall prevail when it comes to statistics, and realize, yeah, it's not really how it happens, is it? That's not what life means. That's not how life operates. The world is uncaring. Oh, there's like a really great quote from Dimension 20, Fancy High, said by, of course, none other than Brendan Lee Mulligan, which is just like an amazing philosophy for life, which I assume he must have improvised on the spot, because it's honestly, like, not I assume he must have, but like, the context of a story around it suggests that he basically improvised on the spot, and it's a crazy, awesome, hard line, which goes something like, the universe doesn't care, but like, people are the, oh, what was it? Let me find it. Dimension 20, people are by the way the universe cares, something like that. If you choose to care, the universe cares. If you don't, then you don't. No. Okay. In the same way your heart feels and your mind thinks, you mortal beings are the instrument by which the universe cares. And I was like, that's an amazing line. I wish I could come up with those like sort of lines off the top of my head when I DM or something like that. Again, we've not really run into any sort of like deities, so maybe that's not the case. Yes. What else was I gonna say? I don't know. I don't need to do my Neopets dailies. I was doing them a little bit earlier. I think I did them at least earlier. Right now I'm just doing my shiny colours ones. This is why I guess I end up having so much time for gacha games, is that I multitask them. Like on the other, I'm playing the other shiny colours game, I suppose, on my phone as well. Well, not really playing it, I'm going to be honest, but doing auto setting on it. And you might be like, oh, what a waste of time to do auto on these sort of things. You're not even playing the game. And to an extent, I agree. But to also an extent, I'm just like, this is what I'm doing, so I want to do it. Actually, I'm not going to do shiny colours auto mode yet, because I might actually want to play. No, I don't think I will play it tonight. From what I understand from my inner circle, is that the new League of Legends mode has been released, which means I've got to start grinding for that Prestige Uni. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens in this D&D campaign. It's very much like an epilogue to Act 1. We'll see how Act 2 comes about, because I have an idea for what Act 2 could be. It's sort of like vague in my mind still. It's not like quite solidified, but I know what sort of plot points I want to hit. But I definitely need to sit down and think about it a bit more. So I don't know if it's like a... Right now things are sort of just like taking a backseat, make things a bit more lax, a bit more loose. Know what I mean? Actually, let's get rid of this one as well. So we'll see how everything wraps up, and I guess I'll round this episode off here so I'm not too late for my D&D session. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.